how's it going? I hope everyone is doing well whenever you tune in and see this. I know I have been gone for a little bit and we didn't have the May readings. So I was pretty sick, and that's just the way he crumbled, so to speak. But I am back for your June readings, okay, for all zodiac signs for the month of June. So we're going to start with Gemini, okay? So since we are still in Gemini season, happy birthday to all the Geminis out there that have either already had your birthday, sun sign Geminis, or your birthday's coming up. And then ahead of time, we're also going to say happy early birthday to all the sun sign Cancers out there from when we eventually switch over later in the month to Cancer. All right, so we're going to do Gemini and Cancer in this reading, and I will be providing timestamps after the live is done, or even breaking up the videos. We'll see how it goes. So you can, for some people, if you just want to do one versus the other, okay? But everybody is welcome, regardless of where you may have your sun, moon, and rising sign, okay? But always feel free to check out all of those different placements in your birth chart that you can get on free, which you can get online for free. Lots of different sites. I think Cafe Astrology is one of them. And you can find out like what your other placements are, because depending on, you know, what's going on in your life, you may resonate more with your sun sign, your moon sign, or your rising ascendant sign. Okay, so with all that being said, I just want to check our sound here and make sure we're going live on Facebook and all of those things, and then we'll go ahead and get started for Gemini. Okay, so sound is okay, and then, because every time I try to go live on Facebook, it always sets it to private instead of public, so only my friends can see it, but we want everyone to be able to see it. Okay, so that should be good. All right, I was gonna do some astrology notes and I wrote them all down, and I have looked everywhere and I cannot find them. So hopefully, I don't know if I left them at work or something, but I checked my car, my house, everything, so Spirit was like, girl, we are not doing those astrology notes for June right now. So that's fine. Message received. So we're going to go ahead and get into the Gemini reading right away. We will do a quick little sound bell here just to ground ourselves and kind of clear the energy, and then we'll get started. For the people that are new or haven't been here in a while, after I've casted all the bones and charms, then I'll take the camera down so you can see everything more clearly, but I just kind of like to start off like this and kind of say hello and everything too first. And then we'll go over the little sections on the map too. But yeah, let's go ahead and do our sound bell here and clear that energy, take a couple of deep breaths to ground ourselves, all the things, and then we'll go ahead and get started. I do have some incense here. I didn't mean to do that, but do have some incense here going in the background, which is also a great way to clear energy from the bones and charms or from any previous reading. But yes, let's now officially hit the sound bell again and see how we can clear. All right, so here we go. This is going to be for Gemini for June. I think that was a pretty good one. Okay. Just move some of the crystals over. I'll put you over here. Okay. Stay. All right, so when I shake the bones and charms, they do make a little bit of noise in the bowl. So just bear with me. It won't be forever. All right. So thank you for your patience and understanding. Spirit, please guide my hands. Spirit, please guide my hands. Messages for air sign Gemini, the twins, for June. What do they need to see? What do they need to know for their highest good? Spirit, guide my hands. Messages for Gemini, for June, for their highest vibration. Spirit, guide my hands. Messages for air sign Gemini, the twins, for June, for their highest good. What do they need to see? What do they need to know? Spirit, guide my hands. Messages for air sign Gemini, for June, for their highest good. Spirit, guide my hands. Messages for air sign Gemini, for June, for their highest good. Spirits, guide my hands. All right. I know one popped off the table. Hold on, I see it. We got our seashell. If we follow it, it's right here, kind of on the line. Let me make sure, is that it? I think so. Okay, good. All right, so we have quite a few of the bones and charms like spread throughout in all the different sections, so it's not necessarily a good or bad thing. We're just kind of noting it. I am going to be turning the bones and charms that I can right side up, so when I do bring the camera down in a moment, you can see them more clearly. Now, things that have fallen outside the black mat, they're still in those sections that we'll talk about, but they're just past energy. So I'm pulling them a little bit forward, so again, that we can see them. And that fell, okay. Let's put that back up. Stay. There's my pen. All right, so looks like we got quite a few here, Gemini, in the past. Again, not necessarily a good or bad thing, but we'll get into it. I'll flip more of those in this section as we go through that part, because they're all pretty close on top of each other and they're touching each other. So I don't want to mess up like the order of those. But again, the ones that are kind of more separate that I can flip without adjusting their placement too much, then I'll do that. And then towards the end of the reading, I will take a picture as well, and I do post that on my Facebook page under this reading, in like the comments or something. So if you want to look at like the picture again, more up close and detail. But one more thing before we take the camera down and I show you everything, I do want to find out where Spirit wants to start this reading, because it's always in a different place, okay, for every reading. So just bear with me one more second here, and I think it's about to start raining, but that's okay. I don't know if you guys, I guess you can't see the window, but it's right there, but we're okay, we're not gonna get wet, it's far enough away. All right, so one second here, guys. Thank you for your patience and understanding. Spirits, where do you want me to start this Gemini June reading, please? Please guide my hands. Spirits, where do you want me to start this Gemini June reading? Yeah, right here. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do. Well, I can remember because it's on the green lucky rabbit's foot. Pretty big, pretty green. It's right there. Okay. Um, so let me bring the camera down so you guys can see better what we're looking at here. So 1 second. And if it starts thunderstorming bad, guys, you can see out there, I will probably close the door and lock my dogs out because Hermes, one of my dogs, is really afraid of thunder. But bless his heart, he will bark at the ceiling to try to fight back at the thunder. So we won't have that interrupt us. So if that starts to happen, I'll just move him out in the other room. But anyway, yeah, so I'm just going to show you guys like the bird's eye view here. And so you can see kind of roughly where some of these bones and charms have fallen. Okay, so in the different sections, we have body and mental health here. We have relationships and love, all types of relationships. So this can be platonic, romantic, or self-love, right? Or all of the above. Over here we have work and money and our sense of being valued. And here you can't see it, but we have spiritual unconscious that's written on the mat, okay? And this is actually where Spirit wants to start your reading, right? So as you come to this reading, it's best to remember too that this could be about you, about someone else, multiple people, general environment, situation, okay? It kind of just depends. But this is so beautiful that they want to start right here, Gemini, okay? And if you are a sun sign Gemini, right, we're still in your sign when I'm filming this on the last day. There we go. Let me just lock the dogs out here because it definitely just started pouring and yep, it's of course going to start thundering right as I'm filming. Okay, 1 second, guys. It's okay, Hermes. It's okay. It's okay. No, come on. You have no. You can't stay here, baby. You'll be fine with your sister. So, yeah. No. You'll be fine. Okay, sorry guys. Okay, so just try to turn on the TV for the dogs in the other room so they hear something besides the thunder, and I close some of the windows. Anyway, Gemini, what I was trying to say was that where the spirit wants to start your reading here, Cleo, hush, is really beautiful. If you are a sun sign Gemini, since we're still since we are still in your season when I'm filming this on May 31st, right? We have the green lucky rabbit's foot in your spiritual unconscious, okay? And so that's so beautiful, right? That's all this beautiful good luck here. We also have the buckeye. Or let's see as it jumps over there. We have the Norse symbol for protection here, Gemini, okay? We also have the lizard over here on this side. So the lizard represents healing, and healing is because sometimes when you cut off certain lizards' their tail, it grows back, right? So it represents that rebirth, regrowth energy that's really beautiful. Okay, and this looks like this could be happening like throughout your spiritual unconscious environment here, Gemini. I'm just going to move over the green lucky rabbit's foot so you can kind of see what else is here. But all this manifestations and all this abundance, good luck, protection, okay? On the other side here, we see a little bit, if I get closer here, Gemini, we have, okay, the broom is right next to the lock, and the lock is on top of the Norse symbol for protection. So this could be your spiritual team, right? Or someone else's, ancestors, past on loved ones and friends, family, etc., wanting to like tell you to clear something here. So clear some kind of stuck or stale, stagnant energy, because when you do this or when someone else does this, Gemini, or the energy shifts here, then you can tap more into this beautiful protection energy. You can tap more into this abundant energy here with the buckeye. And abundance, it could be spiritual abundance, unconscious abundance, right? Since we're in this section, but it could be beyond that, right? But what else I also see here, Gemini, is that we have, okay, over here on this side, this is the bobcat tooth, okay? So it's like chewing over and digesting, maybe possibly how to have some boundaries, like spiritual unconscious boundaries, again with some type of stale or stagnant energy, so we can sweep that away and again bring in this good luck, bring in the abundance and the protection here, and possibly the healing as well. So the lizard is all the way out here. It's not touching the others, but it's still in this section, okay? Now, I would also say here, Gemini, that all the way right on the line here, we can see that it's like half in the past on the white part of the cloth and then on the black part of the cloth, which would be, right, current present energies, the symbol for Sagittarius, okay, the bow and arrow. So this could have something to do with someone who is a sun sign Sagittarius, or where you have Sagittarius in your chart, or it could be referring to Sagittarius season, but it doesn't have to be. But it's really about like, where do we pull back that arrow and then find our target in terms of the spiritual unconscious goals that we may have or someone else may have, okay? So I definitely see that starting a little bit here in the past and then also still here in the present current energies, all right? Now, as we go this way, Gemini, we have kind of holding up that green lucky rabbit's foot, right? We have, this is the alligator claw, right? And so the alligator claw, just like the green lucky rabbit's foot, represents good luck, but it also represents manifesting something, reaching, striving for something with those nails in the hand, okay? The alligator hand and claw. So it's supporting, okay, that green lucky rabbit's foot, but it was also going this way and touching this no coin here, okay? So there is perhaps something here, Gemini, again, either you, someone else, multiple people, general environment, situation, however it may resonate for you, where there's some type of manifestation or striving for something in spirit, your spiritual team or your intuition is coming in here and putting a no on it. This no doesn't have to be, let's say for forever, but it is a no for right now when we're doing this reading and as the present energies are showing up. So again, it's still an angel coin. It looks like scary on this side, but the other side, right, is that yes, okay? So again, this could be a no for right now in some way for our own protection, okay, or someone else's, or it's just not the right timing, okay? But if I go back further, because this started a little bit in the past as well, some of that could be going away in the future, current, present energies in June, and then it's like, then when that energy burns off or lifts up, then you have more abundance and good luck and protection and all the things that we kind of just talked about. Okay, but I want to pull back a little bit here too and get my shadow out of the way as much as I can, okay, and let the camera take a moment to focus. But we do have in the past here in this section, it's really interesting, Gemini, we have feminine energy, masculine energy, feminine energy, okay? So let me pull back like this, right? So we have feminine, masculine, feminine, okay? So in the past and coming also into the current present energies, okay, there's some kind of balance, right? Since we all have masculine and feminine inside of us, right? So this is my listening seashell though. If we look at it and it was a big one and we put it up to our ear, we could hear the ocean, okay? And so it could be that starting in the past, in terms of our spirituality or our intuition, someone or you was listening to, what is my body telling me? What is my intuition, my innate self telling me or telling someone else, right? So there was like this fine-tuning listening that started in the past, okay? And also being proactive and assertive and aggressive, which we would say is a stereotype for masculine energy, okay? So there's both the masculine and the feminine twice here in the past. Now, if you saw me when I was, casting the bones and charms, this is the first thing that actually popped out in your reading here, Gemini. This is the turkey wishbone, okay? And it's all the way out here in the past in the spiritual unconscious. So it's like maybe there was some type of wish or multiple wishes that started here in the past, okay, for what you want in your spiritual life, what you want unconsciously, intuitively, okay? And there could have been some type of messages here or spiritual downloads in the past, okay, when we have the baby facing down here. It could also be, so sorry guys that my dogs are scared of the thunder right when I started this video, but we're just trying to power through it and I'll try to talk as loud as I can over top of him. But basically here, guys, with that baby facing down, okay, it could also be that in the past, there was something to do with, your inner child or someone else's. It could also be 3D physical children, right? Yours or someone else's. But because it's in the spiritual unconscious section, I would say that it's more like inner child work or, again, like I originally said just a few moments ago, spiritual downloads, revelations, dreaming, okay, of what we wish for or needing to sleep a lot more in the past as well, okay? So it's carrying over a little bit into the future, current, present energies, but not too much. Now, I also want to move this around so you can see it a little bit better here. So there we go. So that's one of the skulls I have here in my reading. I have two. So where we see a skull in a reading can tell me where someone's mind is at, where it will be, or where it was. Okay, so here it's in the past, in the spiritual unconscious, all right? And if we look a little bit closer here to see what's around this skull, all right, it could be that you or someone else was thinking a lot about how do I have more luck in my spiritual unconscious, okay? How can I have less doubts? Or if there was questions in the past, possibly about a support system, okay, because you have two vertebrae bones over here. You've got the snake vertebrae and then a piece of the fish vertebrae over here, okay? So if there was a question in the past about a support system, right, like being your friends, your family, your romantic partners, or it could be your spiritual unconscious support system, right? So that would be your angels, your spirit guides, people who've passed on. If it was changing a little bit in the past and there was a need to go with the flow here around some type of questions or some type of doubts, it also seems, if we go this way, that with this piece of the armadillo vertebrae right here, I know it's hard to see on the white mat, but hopefully you can see a little bit, is that the armadillo is like that animal that has the hard outer shell, right? So needing to have maybe in the past a harder spiritual unconscious shell, or it could be the opposite and needing to soften up if we were too hard, right, in some way. Now this could also have something to do with our spiritual unconscious goals and dreams, our intuition, right? What we feel at night, when we're sleeping, when we're alone, right? And maybe those things shifting a little bit. But it is really interesting too that if we look at where the arrow is kind of pointing, it's pointing towards the safety pin, okay? And even though it's in a different section and it's not touching anything here, it is very interesting. It's like, okay, what do we spiritually unconsciously, one of our goals could be, where do we feel safe, right? Where do we feel safe spiritually unconsciously? Where does our intuition respected? Where is our intuition encouraged, right? All of those things could also definitely be present here, okay? All right. So since we're already a little bit looking at this section, I feel like this is where Spirit wants us to move next into your work and money section. But I also wanted to note here, Gemini, that there's nothing, and it's not a bad thing, but there's nothing in your center circle here. Sometimes when a bone or charm is there, it'll affect all the different areas and it's like an underlying theme. But there's nothing actually in the circle this time. Very closely, right, we do have that raccoon claw that we'll get into later, but nothing's, really there. So there's a lot of like individual things going on, let's say, and less of like an overall theme that necessarily ties it all together. We'll know more towards the end of the reading, but I just thought it was interesting that nothing necessarily was there. The other thing I would like to say here, Gemini, is that if we pull all the way back, right, the majority of your bones and charms for the month of June have fallen in spiritual unconscious and of course work and money. So we still have stuff going on in relationships and love and body and mental health, but when this happens, it could be that Spirit wants you to focus more on these areas, okay? So just wanted to say that too, because I don't think I mentioned that before. All right, if other, some people have been here before, they already kind of know that, but for the new people or just people who haven't been here in a while too, I have to say that. All right, so let's look at, we see a lot going on here, Gemini, in this past energy, in the work and money or our sense of being valued. Again, anything that is on the white part of the mat, okay? So all these things, though, that cross the line or right on the line, if we imagine that dotted line going out, they also apply to work and money in a different way, or, an added way here. So what we were saying about that Sagittarius energy here is also still true, Gemini, okay? So there could be something that started here in the past with this Sagittarius energy, with the bow and arrow. It could be someone who has a lot of Sagittarius in their chart or sun sign Sagittarius. It could be referring to Sagittarius season or anything like that. But if it's not the zodiac energy, or in addition to that, it could just really be about now, what are the work and money goals, right? For you or for someone else, or for the general environment, okay? And again, it's still pointing to safety. So maybe the work and money goals are like, how can I be financially safe? How can I feel safe at work, or feel, longevity or stability, right? If you're retired or worker money maybe isn't, the same as when you were working, right? This section can also be about where do you feel valued? Where does someone else? Okay, our sense of values is also here too. So if we look again at the armadillo vertebrae bone here, it could be we needed in the past, because this is past, a harder shell, an outer shell to deal with the work, the money, the finances, or our sense of being valued. Maybe we had to I can't talk, let me slow down, I get excited. Maybe we had to have a hard outer shell more in the past because there was some doubts or a lot of questions again about a support system here that was maybe evolving and changing. Okay, so maybe the support system, the boss, the co-workers, whatever it is here with the worker money was changing in the past, and there was a need to go with the flow more. Okay, so I'm definitely seeing that as well. Now as we continue going up this way, Gemini, now we have the corn charm here, and then we have the fish. So perhaps in the past, and what is the past? It could be a couple of days ago, weeks, months, years, etc. There was some kind of planting of seeds, something of substance, right? In terms of work or money or finances that was really successful, or there was that goal or plan for it to be successful there with the fish and prosperity. There could have also been like a lot of masculine energy in the past that was helping you or someone else clear something. Now I say a lot of masculine energy, but there was also feminine energy here too, because we have the coyote penis bone, and then over here we have the feminine charm itself. Okay, so masculine and feminine coming in here to have you or someone else think about their work environment and their money and financial environment here with the fork. So what are you digesting in terms of work and money and finances? Like what do you want your ideal work situation or money situation to be, right? So someone here, or the energy here, maybe started this in the past and they were really proactive or assertive or aggressive, or you were, and then there was also this feminine energy that came in and was like, we need to clear something here around that, right? This could have also happened with a friend or a group of friends, or just a friendly type of energy here, Gemini, with the witch charm. Okay, but this was a big piece of the puzzle, so to speak, in the past with the puzzle piece here. Perhaps something about also where you feel, or someone else or the energy feels, a sense of safety and freedom here with that ship anchor in the past. And being on top of the scissors, it's like the energy, or someone, or you or someone else, chewing over and digesting, well, where can I cut away things? Again, you have double clearing and cutting away or cleansing things. First here with the feather, and then with the scissors. My sense of safety or freedom at work, with the money, the finances. So maybe someone was thinking a lot about this in the past, and then also that kind of led into the frog showing up here, Gemini. So some type of leap of faith here in the past, lots of masculine energy showing up again with the second coyote penis bone here. And this time it's touching the frog and also the mermaid, and then it comes over into the balance scales. So being proactive or assertive around some type of leap of faith, at work or with the work, the money, the finances, or a sense of being valued. This was maybe a long time coming, or something that someone wished for. It could even go back into past lives there with the mermaid, but it does have like double balanced energy here. Okay, so double, a striving for balance here, okay, with that Libra scales, the balance scales. So you can see it, just move that over a little bit. And then right on top of it is the yin and yang, okay? So I like this a lot here, Gemini. Now, again, in the past, this could have been something to do with someone who is a sun sign Libra or has a lot of Libra in your chart, or Libra season, or where you may have Libra in your chart, or if it's none of those zodiac frequencies, or in addition to that, it could also just really be about the sense of balance, right? So that leap of faith may be scary for some, right? A leap of faith is trusting in something where we don't know what the outcome is going to be, here with the frog, but we do it anyway. And then it leads to a peaceful energy here with the peace doves as well. And it's like peaceful and it's balanced. There's equal give and take. There's reciprocity. This could have something to even do with the court system, or laws or rules or something here, but it doesn't have to be in the past in terms of work or money or finances. But I do like that the dragonfly was underneath it. Okay, I'm just gonna kind of move it back a little bit so you can see. But the dragonfly is similar kind of to the bow and arrow, where it's like, well, what are our goals, right? What are we dreaming for, manifesting in terms of work or money or finances? It could be that in the past somebody really wanted a lot more movement and something possibly even to do with travel here with the bicycle, but it doesn't have to be. Okay, and we have travel again, the bicycle on one side, and then on this side we have the ship. Okay, charm. So it could be that somebody in the past here, Gemini, really wanted to travel more for work or with the work, or travel more when they get money from work or something like this, right? Or it could just be a lot of movement, or even being by water. But if we go this way, Gemini, we also now have the third clearing agent showing up here in the past. Remember, we had the feather, we have the scissors, and now we have the leaf. Okay, so in the past, right, if it wasn't anything to do with travel, this leap of faith and these goals and dreams and striving for this peaceful balance, it could also be like, how can we clear stuff away so we can be more ourselves, or do something non-traditional here, with the hummingbird showing up, Gemini. So having the freedom to be ourselves, or to do something conventional with the work, the money, the finances, or a sense of being valued. Okay, so if there was something in the past with the court case or legally, or excuse me, the thunder and the dogs are just right on time here. I'm like, you couldn't wait until I was doing this video, right? But anyway, if there was something like that, it could have been like someone got a good verdict here in the past, or a sense of freedom with that. But really the freedom to, again, be ourselves more here with the hummingbird, right? So hummingbirds fly backwards, and they get the sweetest nectar, but they do it differently. And the regular, so to speak, birds fly forwards. Okay, so there's something about the details of this here with the strawberry as well. So someone could still be chewing over and digesting this, because this is all past energy, right? But it's also impacting and coming in here into the future, current, present energies, because they're all touching, and then they cross over into the black mat. So here we have this human tooth bone, and then we have the other seashell here, so feminine energy. So as a stereotype, feminine energy, and we all have masculine and feminine, would be that soft receiving energy. Okay, to really think about all of these things. And if we go this way, Gemini, to continue on from that ship charm, it is then also touching the coffin charm. Okay, and it's very close to, but not touching, Pisces, the twin fish over here. So it could be that in the past, this need or desire to have more freedom, to have more movement, to be able to travel, or to just be by water in general, could also be something that your spiritual team with the coffin here showing up, passed on loved ones, friends, family, ancestors, spirit guides, etc., really maybe wanted for you and still wants for you. Now this could have something to do with the Pisces, or where you have Pisces in your chart, or someone else's, or Pisces season, or it's nothing to do with the zodiac energies, and it's just really about, well, how can we go with the flow and, as a fish, go with the tide and not against the tide? How can we make things easier, right, with the work, the money, the finances, or our sense of being valued, okay? Now, it could be, if we also look going back this way here, Gemini, that there could have been a teacher, a mentor, a guide here with the apple, or your own leadership qualities, or both. I'm just going to flip this butterfly over, okay? That led to some kind of big transformation that perhaps started in the past and is still going to impact what's going on over here in the future and current present energies. But this transformation could be what really, shakes, again, our support system when it comes to work. So coworkers, boss, whatever, financial, money, institutions, banks, right? Since we're still in the work and money section. So this is like the whole piece of the fish vertebrae. But if you remember, sorry if I get too close, it won't focus. But if you remember, guys, that, yep, that's some thunder for sure. I know, babies. I know it's scary. You're going to be okay. But if you remember, Gemini, the other piece was way out here, also in work and money and right on the line. And we talked about it a little bit with your first section, the spiritual unconscious. But here now we see the main piece of that fish vertebrae now over here, okay? So remember how I was talking about fish here, needing to go with the flow and with the tide and not against it. Well, anytime we talk about the vertebrae in different animals or ourselves, that's our backbone, okay? And that's our support system, okay? So it could be that who was supporting us in the past with the work, the money, the finances, was starting to go through some big changes here, right? And again, that could have been your own leadership qualities, or working with a teacher, a mentor, a guide, or someone that just had more confidence or knowledge in these areas, okay? Now, as we continue to go forward this way here, Gemini, this could have also been a long time coming, or even something to do with past lives showing up here with the seashell. But it's really about like a subtle vibrations here with the bat as well, okay? So bat is also a symbol for good luck in lots of different cultures, but they're blind, so they use echolocation to communicate, just like us humans use words to communicate, but then we can also communicate on a more subtle level with our energies and our vibrations, okay? So it could be that if we put that together, I'm just moving it over so you guys can see it. If you put the bat with this crown here, this could be, again, working with a higher up, or a teacher, a mentor, or a guide, or someone that has more knowledge or confidence with this, that over time, the memories of this, as we can see with the elephant here on top of the rope, okay? If you guys can see it, if I move it out more, sometimes it's easier to see. That over time, this is going to help you or someone else, or the general energy here, Gemini, with following your North Star. If you can see that star there that was also touching all of those things, okay? So that is so beautiful. And then spirit comes in here again, your spiritual team, just like the coffin, now with the skeleton hand, is like, okay, well, we've got you now working on your confidence, or we got you working on the subtle vibrations, or someone else, or working more with others to look at these things and how it affects your sense of being valued at work, with the money, with the finances, all of those things. Because I know what's under this here, Gemini, is, there we go, our first honeybee, okay? So the honeybee represents our individual power and our sense of community, okay? With the work, the money, the finances, our sense of being valued, right? So if all the honeybees formed a work union, okay, they would be, they're all working for the queen honeybee. But if each individual bee, their individuality, if they all started to quit their job, then there would be no honey and everybody would die. I know that sounds so dramatic, right? But it's just a metaphor, though, for us too, right? So it's like community effort and power and unions, right? And then individual power, okay? So your spiritual team maybe wants you to listen for something here. Also, with the listening bells showing up here, they're all by themselves, but there they are, right? So listening for opportunities with the work or at work with the money, the finances here, is definitely showing up as well. And if we look back, okay, the last thing here in the past, this is your other honeybee that was right on the line, Gemini. Okay, so remember that dotted line that separates the sections? Okay, also in the past, that sense of individual power and community power, and how we can use that to manifest things. Okay, because here we have the raccoon claw. So raccoons are kind of pack animals, so it could be more about something with community here. And then as we move forward here, we also have, just flipping it over so you guys can see, the seashell here. I mean the seashell, the seahorse. I was like sea, and then it just automatically said shell, but I meant to say seahorse. Sorry guys, a lot been going on. I need more coffee, of course, but it's all good. If you know me, you know me. It's all good, right? Or even if you don't now, you do. You gotta have a sense of humor here. But the seahorse is a symbol for family, right? So it could be like, if we're talking about a sense of community, it could also be about with our family, with the work, the money, the finances, or a sense of being valued. This is a general reading meant for multiple people. So it's not necessarily going to be an individual case by case. So sometimes you have to listen and see how it may apply to your life. And it doesn't, that's okay. Don't force it, right? That's why I always say, check out your other placements as well, your sun, moon, and rising. Or come back later towards the end of the month or next month and then see how maybe now it makes more sense or something like this. But anyway, somebody chewing over and digesting, double time here with two of these teeth bones, okay, about family, okay, our sense of family. So with the seahorse, this can be our blood family, and or it can be whoever we consider our tribe or our group of people, right? So someone's thinking a lot about this, okay, with the work, the money, the finances, with this human tooth bone and with the deer tooth bone, okay? So chewing over and digesting teeth is that's kind of what it represents, for me anyway. So then if we look over here, we have Pegasus, the winged horse, okay? So this is about, well, how can we have a sense of freedom to be more with the family, with the work, the money, the finances, or working with them to work on these things together. Again, it's a case-by-case thing, but I feel that it's a really beautiful energy here, and it's nothing, it doesn't mean that it won't be challenging, right? But it does generally feel really nice here, okay? Now, there could be a need to have more flexibility here, okay? Because right on the line is our dog ankle bone here now, Gemini. So either you or someone else or general environment or the energy maybe needs to have more flexibility with the work, the money, the finances, our sense of being valued, or have more flexibility also with the family or whatever we consider our family, our tribe, our people, right? Now, there is something here in the past that I kind of like put on hold to talk about, and then I put it on hold and then I straight up forgot, right? But everything does happen for a reason. So if we look back here in the past, okay, we have the last three things that we didn't talk about was here we have Cupid, we have the turtle, and then we have the cup, okay? So Cupid is my symbol for all types of love, romantic, platonic, and self-love, okay? But it's pointing this time to that pair of scissors. So perhaps in the past, someone that loved you or loves you or you love them, or, all the things, whatever it may be, perhaps they wanted to help you clear something here, cut away something that was no longer useful in the past around, again, a sense of freedom and safety with that ship anchor that was there, right? So we drop our ship anchor when we need to stop the boat, and we lift it when we need to go. So then we talked about freedom here with Pegasus. We also had the freedom handcuffs over here. So it's like freedom and safety, but really free. Something, again, being free to be yourself or to do something non-conventional is, again, maybe it started here in the past, and that leap of faith to find more balance to do those things is now going to maybe show up more here in the present current energies with the family or a sense of family here. But in the past, it was like go slow with it because maybe it wasn't the right time yet to happen in the past. And there was a lot of emotions around this. But again, now I see it kind of possibly manifesting here now in the present current energies. Okay. Now, this is really pretty too here, Gemini. So here we have Leo the lion, okay? We have the wish charm. It's upside down, but that's where it is. And then we have the masculine charm, okay? So this could have something to do with the Leo or during Leo season, or where maybe even you have Leo in your chart, all right? But if it's none of those zodiac things or in addition to those zodiac energies, it's really about passion and creativity and fiery energy, okay? Coming in here and masculine, proactive, assertive, aggressive energy coming in here to help you or someone else or just the environment with whatever you wish for when it comes to the work, the money, the finances, or our sense of being valued. So when I say for some people who may watch this who are retired or no longer working, right, we're paid by society or different employers or whatever amount of money for what they consider we're worth for the job that we're doing, right? So that's why it's also not just work and money and finances, it's also our sense of being valued, okay? What I really love over here, the last two things in this section, Gemini, or three things, because I just saw something else over there, is right on the money word, we have the key charm. So there's like something about answers coming. So if we're listening, okay, for work opportunities or something with the work, the money, the sense of value, the answers are, coming here. And I love that. Okay. But also, what else is coming? Beautiful new ideas here, Gemini. We have the lightning bolt right here on the mat where we have that money symbol. Okay. And then it's like these new ideas that can help with the work, the money, the finances, the sense of being valued is also going to possibly bring a lot of happiness here with the sun charm right on the line, okay? And this could also bring right on the line too, right? If we go this way, all of this stuff that we talked about in the beginning of the reading for spiritual unconscious section, it can also apply to work and money. And that's why I also said that these are your two busiest sections this month. If we pull all the way out, we can kind of see that. Okay, so it could also be that when these new ideas come in and the sense of happiness, possibly a sense of protection, okay, abundance and good luck. Having boundaries though, okay, is really going to help this come in more too. Because if we're clearing and cleansing any stagnant energy here with the lock and the broom, having boundaries with work, the money, the finances, okay? Because just like a cat, because this is the bobcat tooth, if they don't feel like doing something, they're gonna let you know. Cats are really good with their sense of boundaries. Like if they don't want to be pet, they're gonna just walk away. They're gonna hiss at you. They might even scratch you. They're like, no, I don't want to be pet. You're not going to pet me right now. So there could be a big thing here too about boundaries, and that's going to help us manifest things. Now, the last thing, I swear I keep saying that, but this is going to be the last thing in terms of work or money is remember, if we get some type of no, or we give some type of no, or just as a no, it doesn't mean no for forever. It could be a no for right now. It could be a no for our own protection in some way. Okay, so take that however it may resonate. But again, these things are all touching each other. They're right on the line, so they also apply that way. Okay, now let's pull back for a second. I'm gonna take a sip of water here. water slash coffee. It's actually coffee, but it does have some water in there. So yeah, I guess it's both. And then we'll move on to your last two sections here, Gemini, to body and mental health and relationships and love. All right, so thank you guys for your patience, um, for dealing with the barking dogs and the thunderstorm. Hopefully, it's on its way out, but I don't want to jinx it. So we'll just say hopefully, all right? But let's go ahead and move here into body and mental health section next, since we're already kind of over here and talking about these things. They're also going to apply that way as well, okay? But we'll come back to that a little bit. First, let's see the new things. And I'm going to try to block a little bit of the light there so it doesn't reflect so much on that coin. But since we're already talking about it, let's look at it. Okay, this is your angel coin here, Gemini. How beautiful, okay? So now, when we're talking about body and mental health, it's the same kind of deal. Like, this could be about you, this could be about someone else, or just the general environment, situation, or energy. But it looks like the angels want to come in here and bless someone and help them with any like heavy mental activity that may have been going on in the past and is still maybe possibly going on during the month of June, right? We know that half of June is still half a Gemini season. If you know anything about Gemini, their ruler is Mercury. They're all about the mental, their crown chakra, right? Air energy. So I like that that's showing up here for you, Gemini, because they also have it very close to the book charm, right? And so here, God, my hands look dirty, but I was in the garden earlier and I can't get it off no matter how many times I wash my hands. But anyway, this is like, some type of information coming in, okay, or coming out from you, but it feels like it's coming in more, okay. And this information, if it tends to like overwhelm someone, it could be good information too, but it could still be like overwhelming or a lot going on. Your angels are showing up here, your spirit guides, ancestors, your spiritual team, whatever you want to call it, and they're like, we're gonna help you with this, okay. Because I can also see, if we turn the camera around this way, guys, and you see that figure on the mat that's meditating, like a little person meditating, well, what is right on top of the head, okay, it's very interesting, is the chair charm, and it's kind of balanced between the body and mental health words on the mat, okay. So this could be like someone's thinking a lot about, here, Gemini, where do I feel at home in my body, and where do I also feel at home in my mind, right? Someone could be thinking a lot about this. Now, in addition to that, okay, it could also be that there's something going on in the home, okay, where we live, our house, apartment, etc., that could be affecting the body and the mental health, okay? It could go either way, or it could be both. But either way, your angels are showing up here and they're like, I'm going to help you with this, especially with all of that overthinking or air sign energy that you are a Gemini, right? If you're a sun sign Gemini. But it's also like whatever you're doing here or someone else is doing here, spirit generally likes it, okay? Because majority, let me turn this back around, of your bones and charms are in other areas, right? So whatever you or someone else is doing in terms of their body and mental health throughout the month of June, I would say spirit wants you to continue to do that, okay? So maybe process whatever this information is, or learn these new things, or whatever it may be, all right? Because I also see here that with the raccoon claw going this way, Cleo, y'all are really getting on my nerves. Stop. You're fine. Sorry, guys. With this raccoon claw coming here and going up, raccoons are pack animals, right? Even though sometimes you see them alone, they do like have their own system and sense of community and sense of family, whatever you want to make that, okay? So this is about manifesting something here, possibly, even with like the root chakra, or the sacral chakra for some, because it's pointing, okay, this raccoon claw is pointing to the legs that are underneath this person that is meditating, but it could also be pointing right to the different chakras within the body, the Chinese medicine and chakras that we talk about, right? So it could be at the root chakra or the sacral chakra, but I really feel like it's like use your legs and your sense of community, or use your legs for something to do with the body health, or also use your legs to help with the mental if there's a lot of information, with that coming in that we talked about before. Okay, guys, please, my goodness, it's just a thunderstorm. You're okay. Cleo, stop. Now, yeah, that's pretty much, what we have in terms of body and mental health. The only other last thing I would say is that these things are on the line that we've talked about before. They can also apply, Cleo, stop. They can also apply to body and mental health, okay? So, let's move this again. If there's stagnant energy, stale energy in terms of body and mental health, then we need to clear that away, okay, with the broom here, so we can have a sense of protection for our body and our mental health. Also, if we are really clear too with our boundaries with other people and with ourselves in terms of our body and mental health, then we can have more good luck, then we can have more abundance, right? We put the buckeye back here where it was. Then we can also manifest and have just, lots of success in different areas in terms of our body and mental health here with the alligator claw. But also, this could be about something with the boundaries with ourselves and others, right? Like when we have that no coin that's also touching the alligator claw here, Gemini, it could be a no for right now, not for forever. It could be a no that you give to someone or someone gives to you, or it just comes in general, right? But it's like no to you can't cross my boundaries with myself and others with the body and mental health, or no you can't, or something here with this stale stagnant energy, like no more of that. And that's when we go back to the book charm, and also a little bit we said over there with work and money with these new ideas with the lightning bolt, but here it's really like knowledge, it's research, it's getting into like the nitty gritty of something here, okay? But I see it as a good thing. And, the last thing I'll say here for body and mental health, if we look at the past here too, which was right on the line, was the listening seashell, feminine energy, right? So maybe something was started here in the past, this soft, feminine, open, receiving energy came in and was like, you know what, I do want to learn something new here, or I do want to work with my sense of community, or I do want to look at the root chakra, the sacral chakra, for anything that could help me with my body and mental health or something here. Or if there is stuff within the home that's affecting the body and mental health for myself or for others, how can I make it lighter? How can I relate to my spiritual team, my angels, past on loved ones, friends, family, etc., ancestors, to help lighten and take some of this pressure off of the crown chakra. Again, ruler of Gemini is Mercury, air energy, crown chakra, the head, right? So move it off of there a little bit, and give yourself a break, or give someone a break. All right. So with that being said, now Gemini, let's move into your last section here, to relationships and love. Okay, so this is all types of relationships. It's romantic, platonic, and self-love. Now here we have your second skull, okay? And remember, you had your first one over here in the spiritual unconscious in the past, okay? Now we have this one here in the present, current, future energies in love, okay, all types of love. So this can show us where the skulls are in the reading, the two skulls that I have, where someone's mind is at, where it will be, where it was, where it is, right? And here it's right on the middle of the heart. So I usually say that this can be the heart chakra now, okay? So maybe someone's thinking a lot about, you know, if there's been some confusion here with the cloud showing up, okay? This could be confusion, possibly Gemini with a Capricorn or during Capricorn season, or even where you have Capricorn in your chart, but it doesn't have to be. It could also be, or in addition to that, right, something about where do we put in the effort, okay? If there's confusion, right, let's pretend like this is a goat going up the mountain, Capricorn energy, and it's really foggy, and then they're like, oh, I can't see, and then they fall down. Well, Capricorn goat energy is going to get back up and wait for those clouds to clear, and they may not even wait because they're stubborn. They're just going to keep going and get back up on the mountain. Okay, so this could be saying here, Gemini, to be persistent, to put in the work, the hard work. This is earth energy now, different from you, or depending on where you have Gemini in your chart, right? It's slow moving energy. It's not the fast air energy that we're used to, maybe, but it's like we're going to work through this confusion, okay? And I really like here, Gemini, that not touching but very close and still in this section is now the sun on the other side. So this represents happiness, okay? Happiness in our relationships, whether they're romantic, platonic with friends and family, and self-love, or all of the above, right? So it's like, really don't give up if there's some confusion here, okay? Because on the other side, when the storm passes, the one that Hermes and Cleo are driving me nuts about outside, that then maybe the sun's going to come out, that then maybe there's going to be this sense of happiness in our relationships, okay? Yes, thank you, Hermes. Now I want to go a little bit into the past stuff here, up here, and a little bit here, and then move into the last three stuff showing up there. But excuse me, what I see here, Gemini, is really interesting in terms of past energy in relationships and love, right? And what is the past? It could be a couple days, weeks, months, etc. Okay, but here we have the mountain charm. So this does represent challenges. So challenges in one relationship or multiple, okay, in the past. And also maybe there was some type of information that you gave or someone gave to you here with the envelope charm around our sense of support, okay, because this is the whale vertebrae bone, okay, again, vertebrae, our backbone, our support system. So maybe you gave a message, or a message was given to you here in the past, or it just came in general, that affected, like, well, do I really feel supported in my romantic relationships, or do I feel supported in my platonic relationships, or my self-love relationship with myself, because that's your number one relationship first, right? So something came in here possibly in the past, and maybe it was a little bit challenging, but then on the other side, I can also see here, Gemini, that there was a lot of good luck here in the past, okay, with the four-leaf clover. And then also too, right on that dotted line, right, if we pretend like it extends outwards, is that honeybee, okay, is showing up here in that past energy as well. So the honeybee is our, you know, sense of community and individuality, right? So there could have been something going on here in the past in terms of our relationships that was acting as a catalyst to now go into the future, current, present energies, that maybe someone or some energy here needs to be more flexible, right? So right on that line too, remember we have the dog ankle bone. So if we can be more flexible in our relationships, romantic, platonic, and even ourself, right? That is going to bring in a sense of happiness, okay? I can also see here, Gemini, that all the way out here in the past as well, we have that coyote claw, and it almost looks like it wants to, you know, curve inwards and go this way towards relationships and love, that's where it is, right? So anytime we have the claws, it's like manifesting something, reaching for something, okay? So maybe that started in the past, like having not losing ourselves in a relationship, whether it's a work relationship, romantic relationship, with friends and family, whatever it is, not losing ourselves. So we have that individual power and then our community power too. So I definitely see like a lot of emotions here with the water charm, right in between those two words on the mat. And that doesn't have to be a bad thing, right? Relationships can be emotional sometimes, but remember, let the storm pass, work through the confusion, okay, in the heart chakra. If we need to open up the heart chakra more, listen to some heart chakra music, the special megahertz that are associated with the heart chakra. I have no idea, but I know it's out there on YouTube. Is just an example. You don't have to do that, of course, but like doing those things, or being persistent, not giving up, and turning into that earth energy, the slow moving energy, that's going to bring more of a sense of happiness, because this is Capricorn, my symbol for Capricorn here, Gemini, and over here we have Capricorn's ruler, which is Saturn, okay? So again, slow moving earth energy. And I usually say Saturn is he's like Father Time. He comes in here and he wants to get us more serious, more organized. It's a stern parent kind of energy, father energy, right? So Saturn could be showing up here, Gemini, and getting you or someone else more organized and serious with all these different relationships, whether they're romantic, platonic, with friends and family, or even work relationships and self-love, because the more serious that we get and we tap into that Capricorn energy and put in the effort, and we don't give up and we're persistent, that's also when you're going to feel more abundance in your relationships here, Gemini, because now we can see that we have the money bags, okay, showing up in relationships and love. So if it was in work and money, it would be like, oh, that could actually be money, but it could also be whatever it is that we want to manifest, right? So it's not necessarily money. It could also just be general abundance, okay? So really nice reading here, Gemini. I think that maybe I spoke too soon in the beginning when I said like, oh, you have nothing in your center circle, so there's not necessarily an underlying theme. There's always an underlying theme. I guess what I was trying to say more was that there is, these individual areas that need attention, okay? But I would say that overall, like, there's a lot of really, really positive things here in your reading. I didn't see anything that was, like hard to take. Maybe that no over here was the only thing, okay? But everything else was like pretty positive for your season if you're watching this and you're a sun sign Gemini. But of course, you don't have to be. Everybody is welcome, because we all have Gemini somewhere in our chart, or the house of Gemini is somewhere and relates to us, right? Since we're not just our sun sign. But anyway, I would say lots of good luck and protection and abundance showing up here. So really, really cool reading, Gemini. If you made it this far and through the thunderstorm and the dogs barking, I really appreciate it, okay? So what I might do is change the title of this reading to just Gemini, and then I'll take a little break here, check on the animals, and then I will come back and we will get into Cancer next, okay? So let me just put up the camera here and kind of say bye to you guys. But let me know later in the comments if you would like, how this reading... Hermes, we are almost done. You're okay. The thunder's going to be gone soon. If you would like to share with me or anyone else how this may resonate for you, if it already is in certain ways or if it will be later, you're always welcome to do that in the comments or privately too, or not at all, whatever works. All right, guys. So thank you so much. Enjoy this time period, Gemini. And I will see you guys in a little bit. I'll come back with